Most women in business do not need more help. They need more structure. Today, we're talking about why hiring a VA might not be the best solution for your business right now. Hey there, I'm Salen. I am a scale and systems strategist and creator of the Legacy Business System and founder of Simply Rich Living. Inside today's live, we are going to dive into why a VA is not going to help you stop being so overwhelmed with client delivery and managing your high expectations, why they're not going to help you. Uh, Become less stressed when you have so many admin tasks to do in a business that like no one ever told you that you had to do in order to run a successful business, and why a VA is not going to help your mental exhaustion with all the balls that you have going on. So let's dive in. I am going to share this on Facebook into my Facebook group. So if you're here with me live, jump in and let me know. Have you hired a VA? And let me know in the comments how it went on a scale of 1 to 10. 10 being like, I hired a VA, it went amazing. I didn't have to micromanage them. I didn't have to fix their work. It was perfect. It was like having another me, but so amazing in their zone of genius. So let me know that. Or one would be I hired a VA and fired them within 30 days. So let me know, scale of 1 to 10, where are you in regards to hiring a VA? Okay, so let's talk about this. So the first thing is, when is the right time to hire a VA? Now, I've seen so many women entrepreneurs. I have conversations with women all the time, with current clients or women that sign up for my free scale strategy sessions. These are the 30-minute deep dive strategy calls that we have in order to dig into what's going on in their business and what's making their business feel so heavy. Um, but these conversations usually revolve around all the things that they have to do in business. What is that mental exhaustion and what's causing it? And also, am I doing the right thing? Like, I feel like I'm missing something, right? So, let's talk about when is the right time to hire a VA, because we just think, okay, I'm so busy that I should hire a VA to help me out, right? Like that's what we think. Busy equals hire help. Well, let's talk about when is not a good time. So, how do you know? So, if your income is not consistent, meaning you're not making a consistent amount of income, the same thing every single month, it is not the time to hire a virtual assistant, because what I see is that women get really, really busy for a month and then they get into reactive mode and they say, oh my gosh, let me hire help. And so they hire a VA and they're more stressed out hiring a VA. And then business dips again and they're like, I can't afford this person anymore. And so then they let them go, right? So this is this cycle. If you don't have consistent income, do not hire a VA yet. If you're still reinventing your offers or services, not the time to hire a VA, right? So if you don't have proven offers and services that are consistently selling, that is not the right time to hire a VA, because a VA is an expert in their zone of genius. And so they're going to come in and they're going to execute in their zone of genius. And if you say to them, okay, go do my social media, because that's probably the number one thing that women want to outsource. Well, guess what's going to happen is they're going to put out information based upon what you give them. And if what you give them is not creating sales because you haven't proven your offer yet, then you're just going to be spending money on posting and it's not going to be generating sales, which then leads to you feeling like I'm paying all this money to a VA, I'm doing all this work creating social media, and it's not making sales, right? So the third thing is it's too early to hire a VA if your sales depend entirely on your daily energy, right? So think about this. If everything in your sales process is 100% dependent on you, then that's not the right time to hire a VA because most likely the load that you're feeling is not going to be something that you're going to have the bandwidth in order to train a VA. See, here's the thing. If you didn't know this, and this may sound a little cheeky, but VAs are human beings, right? So we need to go through the same process hiring a VA that we would do with any same corporate employee, right? We need to recruit the right VAs, right? So we need to have our business mission, vision, and values in place to attract the right people. Then we need to hire them. So we need to go through the screening process to make sure that they're the right person for our business, right? We're not just randomly picking some human that's breathing. We want to make sure that they're a good fit, they're trustworthy, all of those different kinds of things. And then the third thing is you have to onboard them. You have to spend about 1 to 3 hours with a VA making sure that they have everything they need. They understand your processes, like all of those different kinds of things in order for them to succeed. If you don't recruit, hire, and onboard a VA correctly, most likely you're going to be in the 90% of women that I know that have hired a VA and let them go because it didn't work out. And most of the time, it's not the VA, it's the entrepreneur. And this is because you don't have the mental bandwidth. Okay. So, hiring a VA is not going to solve instability in your business, right? Support, like that extra person in your business, is actually going to amplify what already exists. So, if you have an amazing social media, right? Program that like your social media is attracting the right clients, creating leads, creating sales, then a VA is going to only make that better, right? Because you're like, here's the proven system, go execute it, right? But if you have chaos behind the scenes, or maybe some of you in right in front, or we can all see it, hiring a VA only amplifies chaos, right? So if your business is put together with duct tape behind the scenes and you're like, just come in and grab whatever ball is in the air and run with it and fix it, they're gonna fix it. But most likely, it's not going to meet your brand standards or your delivery standards or whatever it is. And so the problem with that is that then you're going to be micromanaging them. You're going to have to fix their work and you're going to be frustrated and thinking to yourself, why did I even hire someone when I could have just done it myself for free? Right? So, this is the kind of things that these are the signs of when hiring a VA too early is not a good thing, right? Support scales what's stable, it magnifies what's messy. So if you've hired a VA and it didn't work out, it's because behind the scenes, your infrastructure in your business is not laid out with the 4 core pillars that every single business needs. Okay. So let's talk number 2. You haven't documented or simplified your core processes. This is probably the biggest issue that I see with women entrepreneurs. So if everything that you do is in your head, guess what? A VA is not in your head. And so they're not going to be able to suck how to do whatever task out of your brain and then duplicate it because you don't have it detailed, documented in a system for them, right? Or the other thing is if your tasks change every single week, right? So if you're like, oh, that didn't work this week, let me try it different this week, or that didn't, go as I planned, like, let me try fixing it. Guess what? Like a VA is not going to know how you want to fix it. And so you're going to have to micromanage them. And if you're at the point where you just think, I'll just do it, it's faster, guess what? You cannot scale a business past $1 million by yourself and have some sort of life that you enjoy. It's just the truth. If you've hit that $1 million mark all by yourself, congratulations. Welcome to the 2%. But you're not going to get much farther and have a life, right? I would imagine that you probably don't have a life right now, is my guess. So here's the thing. At this point in your business where your back end infrastructure, right, you're lacking documentation in your core processes, you don't need a VA, you need systems. This is what we dig into in the second pillar of my unique blueprint called the Legacy Business System, right? This is my scaling framework. We dive into systems and we systematize everything from how you plan your day, week, month, quarter to how your business functions all day, every day. Because if you don't have systems in place, then no one is going to be able to take that information and duplicate it like you or even do it better, right? And here's the thing. I want you to think about Amazon, right? So, thinking about Amazon and how they function as a billion-dollar company. It does not live in Jeff Bezos' head, right? Everything in Amazon is documented. It's like, do this, do this, do this, do this. How do you think that you get same day delivery? It's because they know exactly which products are in your area. So when they say they can do same day delivery, they know that they have the products within so far of a distance in your area to make it happen. They have drivers available, they have systems in place for someone to pick your order, put it in a bag, put a label on it, get it on a truck, get that truck directed to your home and delivered and document it, take a picture and let you know it's been delivered. Those are systems. Amazon is a system business, right? That's what they do really, really extremely well. So, if you don't have systems in place, then you become a trainer every single day. Your VA says, how do I do this? Where is this? What goes on? What's going on here? If you also become a proofreader because you don't trust that their work, right? So you haven't told them that everything needs to be proofread like 100%. You become a firefighter where you're just putting out fires all day long. You're fixing this VA's work. You're, saying retraining this VA over here. Like you're doing all of these different things. And the worst of all is a micromanager. Now, for all of you who have control issues, I get it, right? But here's the thing. If you have control issues in your business, it's because you don't have the infrastructure in place. And you don't have the infrastructure in place, which means no one can follow it, which means you don't trust them. And that's why you feel the need to control the situation. If you had infrastructure in place, then you would not need to control everything because you would have confidence that you have the clarity in what your business is about, right? So your team knows exactly how to make decisions. They have systems to follow, and you've hired the right people in the right roles in the right seats. And so everything runs smoothly. So when you don't have those documented systems, guess what? You're not delegating. All you're basically doing is babysitting. And I don't know about you, but no one wants to become a babysitter in business. So let's talk about the third thing. So you're avoiding strategic decisions. This is kind of bold. So if you've zoned out a little bit, I want you to think about this one. So sometimes women hire because they don't want to choose a niche. They don't want to simplify their offer suite. They don't want to fix pricing, and they're avoiding revenue gaps because hiring feels productive, right? So you have all of this weight on your shoulders, and you're saying to yourself, okay, what's the easiest thing to do? And that is to delegate my problems to someone else. But if you haven't nailed your niche, right? Become known for a signature program or service or offer. If you don't have your pricing perfected, and if you have revenue issues, just hiring someone to feel productive is not going to help your situation. You want to hire a VA when you have all of those things nailed so they can just come in and take that amazingness that you've built and amplify it and take your business bigger. You don't want them helping you, you don't want them waiting on you to figure out those things in your business, right? So if you haven't fixed your structure, hiring support is not just expensive, it's avoidance, right? And so many women say to me, I don't have time to document systems. And I'm like, you don't have extra money in order to not document systems, right? You don't have time to waste in order not to do this. Systems are what truly set you free in business. They are not sexy at all. And they are probably going to take you time, which you are like, I don't have any. But systems are what get that package to your door from Amazon the same day and make you so happy. So think about the systems that you implement in your business and how much happier you could be. Your clients would be happier, you would be happier, your team would be happier if you just slowed down and you implemented those systems. And I have a three-part system. I have a three-part system in order to help you get your systems up and running quick, easy, and fast, right? So here's the thing. If growth is starting to feel heavier instead of lighter, it's not a capacity issue, right? It's not that you're lacking time or lacking knowledge or lacking skill. It's a structure issue. It's your infrastructure behind the scenes in your business. And that's exactly what I help women fix before they scale any bigger. Yay, you've gotten to $1 million. Congratulations. Welcome to the 2%. It is a huge accomplishment. When a woman tells me that they're at $1 million in revenue, I make a big deal out of it because most women don't realize how much of a big deal it was, just like I didn't realize it when I hit my first million back in 2010. Okay. But you can't scale bigger with everything relying on you. And so if you're at a point in your business where you're feeling like, okay, I'm fixing my team's work, or I feel like I'm having to say the same thing 22 times this week and they still don't get it, or why isn't anyone following that system, or I don't think this team member is the right person for me, I want to encourage you, comment scale. We'll get on a complimentary scale strategy session. And this is where we are going to dig in to your business and figure out structurally which pillar you need help on, and then put a plan in place to get that as fixed as fast as possible, usually within 90 days, so we can lift that weight that's on your shoulders. We can build your confidence in making smart, educated business decisions. Like you will feel at the end of 90 days that you're like, I'm a real business owner. I know my stuff. I'm confident and I can go to whatever level I desire because I have that confidence and that knowledge and the skills, and I am ready and my business is built to scale. Okay, so I will answer questions in the comments. If anyone has anyone, put them in there, and otherwise comment scale. Let's get on a 30-minute scale strategy session and I will help you work through where your business is missing one of those four pillars that are so key to having the right infrastructure in place. Thanks so much, everyone. I will see you next week.